It's late afternoon, early evening now. Got the U-Haul today. Did a little prep work. Got somebody coming tomorrow in the morning to help load up the old U-Haul. The guy at the U-Haul place was really cool. It's called Uncle Vic was on his placard, and he saw my Purple Rain shirt. And he's like, "Man, Prince was one of the greatest of all time." I said, "You're absolutely right." And because he related to my shirt, I got the truck with the better engine in it. He gave me a Hemi. Good guy. You know, I always tell my wife, try and relate to everybody you come in contact with. Try and ingratiate yourself to them. Show them that you share similar experiences. And oftentimes it will pay off in rewards. So yeah, Uncle Vic took care of me. And man, I got so much work to do, and I'm so tired still from the gig. I haven't really rested today. I'm gonna be crashing pretty hard pretty soon. I think it's might be a in bed before 7 p.m. type deal. Man, I've felt lately that I could just sleep for a week. I just wanted to crawl in bed and just lay there. That's what I used to do every Sunday. I went to gig, weekend warrior, gig all week. And then Sunday I would just never get out of bed. The only time I'd get up is, have something to eat, make some breakfast or something, and I'd just go back to bed. And that was back in the salad days, when I didn't have any cable TV, so, I'd wake up and maybe find an old movie on the old rabbit ears TV. And, on a good day, it'd be something, I like this movie or something. And, you'd watch for a little while and then drift back off to sleep and then wake back up and catch the back half of the movie. But it was that recuperation time that I don't really get anymore, because I have a 3-year-old. And, I got to get up every day early, no matter what. That's why these late gigs are hard, because I know at 6 a.m. she's going to get up. And I'm going to have to get up and make sure she's taken care of. And I don't mind doing that. That's probably a big reason why I don't drink anymore, is it just would be impossible to pull off. It just would not be fun being hungover with your kid. That's not being a good parent. Just saying. A lot of work to do, but it's really encouraging. All the support, even the trolls, even those wonderful trolls. It's amazing how many people out there are feeling the same feelings, going through the same life. And you don't even have to be a musician to feel that we feel the same, that we're struggling through life, we're catapulting through this world, not unsure of what the future brings. And knowing we just have to do our best, we just have to show up. Well, they always tell you half of the success is showing up. Well, we didn't have a choice. We're here. We're showing up, but are you showing up day to day, doing what you need to do? That's the real question. I can always think back and think, I could have done this different, or I wouldn't have done this, or, the guys that gave up early and got good jobs, and they're going to be in a lot better financial shape than I will be in. But for me, I wish I'd have done more. I wish I'd have maybe done some of those gigs I turned down. I wish I'd have taken myself out of my comfort zone even more, taken more chances, taken more risks. But I'm glad I took the risks that I took, because it's been a hell of a ride. It's so peaceful out here, listening to the birds. It's a quiet neighborhood. Where I'm heading, it should be quiet for a while. But you'll see, there's going to be a lot of planes where I'm going to be at. So I have to take you on a tour of the temporary digs in Florida. It's been a rough day. There were some issues on the gig last night that I had to address today. And I didn't want to have to do it, but it had to be done. I don't like to leave things unresolved. I like people to know exactly where I stand on something. And doing that on the gig is never a good idea. You should always remain calm on the gig. Let it go. Whatever's going on, let it go. But you can always address it the next day. And I had to do that today. I had to kind of put my foot down and say, hey man, I'm out of here. But that's unacceptable. Take a deep breath. Breathe. Life is a hell of a ride. Sometimes it rains. Sometimes the sun's out. And no matter how hard it rains, eventually the sun does come out. Let's talk a little bit about LA. Because the one thing, as hard as Nashville can be, LA offered a lot more promise than Nashville really did, because LA had the temptation of becoming a rock star. That became a huge part of everything, and that was a very distant dream. But I can't help but thinking, when you think about your accumulated earnings over the years, and how, I played so many shows out there, and I don't think I ever made a dime. We made a lot of money for the clubs that we played, and I understand a lot of it was, a lot of money went to the manager because he was paying the rent on our rehearsal place and some of our expenses, and every now and then maybe take us out to lunch or something. But that was a system out there. We were kind of all the wayward kids of the U.S. going out west with rock star dreams. You ended up just being sort of pimped out by the club owners. You'd get your rock and roll uniform, your tight pants, and you'd grow your hair out. And then you'd go promote. You'd hand out flyers. And you'd try to get as many young ladies to the show as you could. That was the goal. But essentially, if you think about it, the promoters, the clubs, they put you out there. They put you out there pounding the pavement, working the street, bringing in the bread, bringing in the talent, as they sometimes like to say in this business. And it was fun. It was a blast. I sometimes think, kids now with the internet and the way music is promoted, what they're missing is that person-to-person contact, that having to go up to somebody, get out of your comfort zone and introduce yourself and say, hey, I've got a really good band and you guys should come out. You want to hear a song? I mean, we would literally break into song right on the street, and that was something not a lot of the other bands could do because we were different. There's two different types of musicians in some way. There's two different types, and I'm not talking about styles of music. I'm talking about like rockers and musos. And you could probably break most musicians down to just those two categories. And the rockers, all they have is their outfit and the flash and their looks or lack thereof. And they got to put on that outfit every time they play. And that's what it's about. It's about image. It's about selling an image. It's about promoting an image. It's about being an image. But a muso can put on the outfit, but he can also take off the outfit and play whatever music he wants. He can change with the wind. He can change his outfit. He can change his style of music. And through all the trends, he can change with the times. So I've known some rockers, and rockers love to judge somebody by their looks, and they love to judge what you're wearing, and you're not wearing the right clothes, or it's this or it's that. But it's usually nothing about the music. A muso, on the other hand, is very serious about the music. And muso still you've got a uniform when you're a muso. You might have to wear a suit, you might have to wear a tux. You might be able to just show up in some jeans and a nice shirt. But a muso doesn't have to put on the clown suit. A muso can just play music for the sake of playing music. They don't have to prance around and put on tight pants if they don't want to. There's a lot of players in this town. There's a whole rock scene in Nashville. It's mostly like the old guys that moved here and stuff, but I don't really hear anything. I don't hear them doing anything new. Some of them could have stood to maybe be a 20% muso, just so they could do something original. There's not a lot of originality. I'm not even sure there's a lot of stuff left to do. There's new bands out there, and they're blazing their own trails, and there's all kinds of, the polyphia and and all that kind of stuff. But it more and more feels like, the classic, the rock thing. It almost seems like it's all been done. And there are bands that, replicate older bands, and they go out there and try to be, like Led Zeppelin, or they try to be like the Stones, or they try to be like, whatever, and they fall short. And it's a different time now. There's a big generation gap at last of the rock star generation. It's a big difference between us and the millennials and Gen Z and Gen X and Gen Z, I guess. There's a big difference, and it became painfully obvious when I was out on the road, and all of a sudden I was one of the older guys on the bus, and I'm out there with the millennials and all that, and my generation always wanted to go on the road. I always wanted to see as much as I could, and it was exciting for me to look out that bus window and see the stage we were going to play and see the crowd, and maybe come back from the hotel and get a police escort into the venue, and the thrill of that, and the roar of the crowd, and all of those things. And my generation, Gen X, we grew up with the rock star mythos, and we, that was the thing. Go from town to town, kiss the girls, drink the beer, drink the wine, try the pizza, do it, conquer the stage, and break hearts, and move on to the next town, and do it all over again. But the millennials, they would finish a show, and they would sit on the bus and stare at their phones, or they'd sit Indian style in the hallway of the bus and sip wine in their tank tops and their shorts, the little shorts. And, it was mind-blowing to me, because I'm like, guys, we're out here, and this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And nobody's trying to be the next Led Zeppelin, but there's some people on the bus, and this is their dream too, to party with celebrities or rock stars, and you guys are just being stuck up little twits sitting there Indian style, in the hallway, just ignoring everyone, not talking to anyone, not engaging people in conversation. And I met my wife on the road. So, I was open to the experience, and meeting someone, it wasn't hard. It wasn't easy. And there were many nights where, I would finish the show and crawl in my bunk, and someone would say, hey, there's people out here that want to meet you, or they want to party with you, or come out and have a beer with these people, and I would 9 times out of 10, I'd crawl out of that bunk, and I'd go out there, and I'd give them a taste of, what it was like on the road, and I'd hang out, and I'd crank up the tunes too loud, and, party. Bring the party. Every night was Saturday night. Every night was Saturday night. And, it was hard. It was hard. I took a toll. But, man, that's the dream. And when they say, oh, I'm living the dream, and, most people on the road now, when something screwed up is happening, the bus is broken down or whatever, and someone will say, "How you doing today?" And they go, living the dream, because they know it's not really a dream, but it's what we thought was a dream when we were growing up. You know, I think back now, and all my heroes, they were all addicts. I didn't know that as a kid, you know, but yeah, they did what they had to do to get through the show, just like Elvis or Eddie Van Halen or Jimi Hendrix. It's like the last time I went out to LA and for a visit, and you know, my wife wanted to go, and I was like, I didn't want to go back out there. I have no reason to be out there anymore. The music scene's dead. But I couldn't help thinking about how that town and that music business there destroyed so many of my heroes. And just like Nashville, I thought, man, I'm lucky I got out of there alive.